Imagine trying to tell a story that's not just centuries old, but hundreds of thousands of years old. We're about to dive deep into the past of the Indian subcontinent on a journey that starts with a simple stone tool and ends with some of the most profound ideas humanity has ever had.
Right, so this is the fundamental question, isn't it? When you're dealing with a time before any written records, how on earth do you piece together the story? It's the difference between history you can read and history you literally have to dig out of the ground.
And this really boils down to a crucial distinction. For the prehistoric era, we've got zero written clues. The whole story is built from silent artifacts, tools, bones, the outlines of ancient ruins. But then you get to the proto-historic era, which is so fascinating but also so frustrating. We have their writing, but we can't read it. The story is right there, staring us in the face, like a locked treasure chest.
Okay, let's start where it all began, the prehistoric era. For an almost unimaginable amount of time, the entire story of humanity was written in stone.
Just look at the scale of this timeline. It's mind-boggling, really. The Paleolithic, or the Old Stone Age, spans nearly 500,000 years. It just completely dwarfs the later periods. It represents the vast majority of our time on this planet.
And during this enormous stretch of time, 3 revolutions happened that changed everything. First, our own species, Homo sapiens, shows up. Then, we start to tame the wild. We domesticate animals. And finally, the absolute game changer, agriculture. We stopped just finding our food and started creating it. And that, right there, would change the course of human history forever.
This discovery at Burzaham is just, wow. It's incredibly moving because it shows us something more than just a new way to live. By burying their dogs with them, these people are telling us that their bond with these animals wasn't just practical, it was personal, it was deep. This is a little window into the birth of culture, of companionship, and maybe even the first hints of a belief in what comes next.
So, with farming firmly established, the stage was set for an even bigger leap forward. We're talking about the birth of the very first cities.
Welcome to the Bronze Age and the Indus Valley Civilization. As you can see from this map, this wasn't just a civilization. It was a sprawling, massive, interconnected network of cities and towns. It's a testament to their incredible organizational skills.
And their cities were absolute marvels of planning. You can see 2 very distinct areas. There's the raised citadel, which is probably the seat of power, and then the meticulously planned lower town, where most people lived. This grid system, with its perfectly straight streets, it tells you so much about how advanced their understanding of urban design was.
And just look at this. This is the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro, an architectural masterpiece right in the citadel, and a true testament to their engineering skill. The precise construction, probably for some kind of ritual bathing, makes it one of the most iconic structures of the entire ancient world.
Their level of sophistication was just astounding. They had advanced sanitation with covered drains and even manholes. They had standardized weights and measures, so trade was fair. They were the first people to cultivate cotton, and their influence went far beyond their borders. We found their seals as far away as Mesopotamia.
But despite all their incredible achievements, the people of the Indus Valley left us with a profound mystery. They had a written language, this beautiful script that we find on thousands of their seals, but we have no idea what it says. We can't read it. And that tantalizing puzzle is what makes them a proto-historic civilization.
Now, we're still debating why those great cities declined, but out of their ashes, a whole new culture rose up. And this one wasn't built on bricks and trade, but on the power of the spoken word. This was the dawn of a new era, defined by sacred hymns and a universe of oral traditions.
And the contrast between these 2 worlds is really striking. You see this shift from bustling cities to rural villages, from an economy based on trade to one based on herding livestock. It was a fundamental change in how people lived, with the focus moving from material things to the richness of these oral traditions.
At the very heart of this new era are the Vedas, a collection of sacred texts whose name literally means knowledge. For centuries, these hymns, prayers, and philosophical ideas were considered so sacred that they weren't even written down. They were passed, word for word, through an unbroken chain from teacher to student.
And this huge body of knowledge was meticulously organized. It kind of progresses, It moves from the foundational hymns, the Samhitas, to the detailed rituals of the Brahmanas. The Aranyakas, or forest texts, dig into deeper theological questions, and it all culminates in the really profound philosophical insights of the Upanishads.
These hymns are gathered into 4 main Vedas. You've got the Samaveda, full of melodic chants, the Yajurveda, with its ritual mantras, and the Atharva Veda, a collection of magical formulas. But the oldest, the biggest, and the most significant one is the Rigveda. It's this massive collection of Sanskrit hymns that gives us this incredible window into the world of the early Vedic people.
The Rig Veda also gives us a peek into their social structure, which was split into 4 groups, or varnas. Now, this is a really important point. In this early period, this system was based on your profession, not on who your parents were. This allowed for a lot more social mobility than the rigid caste system that would come centuries later.
So, as we wrap up this journey through millennia of history, what are the things that have really lasted? We've seen this incredible evolution from a simple stone tool all the way to a sophisticated city, and then from a world focused on material things to one of deep philosophical thought. And from this ancient wellspring of thought, you get ideas that have absolutely transcended time, ideas that still inspire millions today. This concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is one family, is such a powerful reminder of our shared humanity, a message that's echoing to us from the distant past.
So we're left with this really profound question. We've seen how physical tools shaped human destiny, from that simple stone axe to the plow that fed cities. But which tool has really had the greater impact? The one that shapes the world around us, or the one that shapes our minds? The journey from stone to scripture seems to suggest that it's in our ideas, in our stories, and in our shared search for meaning, that we truly discover what it means to be human.